Welcome back students. This is second lecture on geomagnetism. In previous lecture already we learned some basics about like earth magnetism. What we have learned, we learned some definitions like what is angle of declination, what is angle of dip, then the horizontal vertical component of earth's magnetic field. Then you learned some instrumentals so like tangent galvanometer, vibration magnetometer, and last point we discussed there was like neutral points. Okay. So in this topic mainly what we are doing in this lecture, we will talk about what magnetic material. Okay. Yes, we learned the properties and some relations for what magnetic material. So let's talk. So we are learning about what? Sorry, magnetic material. Okay. So first we'll talk some basic properties. Actually, all you know that we have three type of magnetic material. It's called diamagnetic, paramagnetic, and what? Ferromagnetic, right? So the main thing is what? How to make a magnetic material, how to magnetize a material. So what you do, you take a material and put inside a solenoid generally. Okay, this is solenoid. You know that solenoid will produce magnetic field when some current is passed through this, right? Field is generated in these rings, right? So the material which you want to magnetize, you can put that here. Okay, that's your material which you want to magnetize. This could be any type of material, dia, para, or ferro, right? So the magnetic field produced by the solenoid will induce a magnetic field inside what your material, and that will get magnetized. Okay, yes. Okay, so in this chapter we are interested in knowing in some definitions and relations. Let's talk what they are relations. Okay, so one definition is called magnetizing field, or people also call this as what? Magnetic intensity. They write capital H and it's a vector quantity. Okay, look here, name itself the magnetizing field is a field which magnetizing your material, means the field produced by what, like your solenoid or some other external agency. This field can be produced by anything. Okay, doesn't matter. So magnetizing field or what? Magnetic intensity. This is the magnetic field produced by that some source and in which we place our material, and that magnetizing field is magnetizing our material. Okay, so what is this actually? If you want to write in words, it is the external magnetic field. It's simply magnetic field only in which our magnetic material is placed for magnetizing. Okay, this is a field, magnetic field produced by some source. Okay, just like a solenoid, and in which our magnetic material is placed, and this material is getting what? Magnetized. Okay, yes, we represent by H symbol. So what is H actually? Mathematically, how you write this? Okay, how you write as a formula, simple only. So H is nothing but what? The magnetic field. Okay, by what? Mu naught. What is the magnetic field produced by your source, and what's the permeability of the free space? Okay, we suppose you place them in air. Okay, so solenoid is placed in what? Air. Okay, then this is what your formula, correct? Okay, so it's very simple. Unit you want to write for this, unit and dimension. Okay, then it becomes what? Ampere meter. What dimension comes? Unit ampere per meter. Okay, dimension a power 1, L power minus 1. A represent what? Ampere. Okay, yes, ampere per meter. Okay, this is one definition. Okay, let's talk few more definitions. One is called intensity of magnetization. It's also vector quantity, we represent by what? I symbol. Intensity of magnetization, name itself saying intensity, how strongly that bodies got magnetized. That tell you why this word what? Intensity of magnetization. Okay, so few words, I'll let you write few words here. This is one nothing but it is what? Magnetic moment developed per unit volume. Okay, how much magnetic moment M, right, is developed per unit volume is called what? Your intensity of magnetization. So how you write formula of this? I is nothing but what? Magnetic moment by what? Volume. M by V, V is the volume. So one way this, you can also write this formula like, suppose you have bar magnet. Generally you're talking this topic about bar magnet, right? So magnetic moment of bar magnet, you can also write pole strength into length, right? Volume you can write area into what? Length. Length you can cancel, so you can write M by A also. Means pole strength by area of cross section. If you have bar magnet, that also what? Your intensity of magnetization, or simply what? Magnetic moment developed per unit volume. Okay, so what is this? I'm writing pole strength by what? Area of cross section. This way also you can write. Okay, suppose you want to write unit. It's very interesting. Unit becomes same like what? H only. Magnetic moment unit we know. What is unit? Ampere meter square, right? Divide by volume, so it becomes what again? Ampere per meter, right? Yes, so ampere per meter. So same unit what? Here also, if you watch carefully for this, H and I has what? Same unit. Okay, dimension you want to know? Same dimension, no problem. A power 1, L power minus 1. Okay, this is second definition. Let's talk third definition. This is important, that third definition. Something called magnetic susceptibility. Magnetic susceptibility, we write a chi symbol. Okay, chi M. Okay, yes, it's look like that way, proper. Okay, chi for magnetic material. What is susceptibility? This is a ratio of these two things, that's all. Your intensity of magnetization to the magnetizing field. So it is the ratio of intensity of magnetization, okay, to the magnetizing field. Okay, it means your chi is nothing but what? Simply I by what? H. I by H. Let me write it more clearly. Intensity of magnetization by what? Sorry, H. This is what your magnetic susceptibility. Actually, this term tell you that how it easy to magnetize a material. This tell you what? How it is easy to magnetize given material. Suppose chi is very big, means it's very easy to magnetize that material. Like we have dia, para and ferro, three type of material. We'll talk after this. Ferro has very high susceptibility, means what? It's very easy to magnetize a ferro type of magnetic material like iron, cobalt. Okay, these are very easy to what? Nickel. These are very easy to what? Magnetize. Okay, so this tell you what this chi tell you? Tells you what? Easiness, okay, of magnetizing a material. How it is easy to magnetize the given material, that is told by what? Magnetic susceptibility, correct? Okay, this is important. So this can be negative, this can be positive. Okay, we will talk about this when I talk in next topic about the magnetic materials. Okay, let's talk more for the definition. We talk about this mu. Okay, this is permeability of the free space. Same way, what is just permeability? How you define it? Permeability. Okay, definition is already here if you watch carefully. Still I am writing here mu. Permeability tell you, suppose you put a magnetic material inside a magnetizing field like this. Okay, then how many of these magnetic lines, okay, magnetic field lines can enter into that material? That is told by what? This number. This number is big, means more magnetic field lines are entering in that material. Okay, yes. So what is the definition of this? This is nothing but I am writing mu is simply equal to, look at here, this much only. Mu is what? B by H. Okay, magnetic field, okay, in that material by what? H. This is what your mu. Okay, I forgot to tell you something. This term, This time I by h, I and h has same dimension. So remember that your chi has no dimension. I'm writing there. This magnetic susceptibility has no dimension and what? No unit also. Okay, because same thing by same thing we're doing. Okay. Yes. This has a unit. Permeability has unit. What is unit of permeability? SI unit is called Henry meter. What is unit? H by N. Henry meter. Okay. Yes. No. Yes, I am writing correct only. I think Henry meter. Let me cross check this. Magnetic field is what? What is unit of magnetic field? Because answer the writing Henry format means what in terms of what? Self induction. Okay, I think this is correct only. If it's still wrong, I will tell you. Okay, so this is okay. Permeability is done. Now one last relation we need, that relation between what? Okay, here one more small term I can talk, something they also talk like relative permeability sometime. Relative permeability. Okay, mu r we writing. So relative permeability is nothing but what? Permeability of that given medium by permeability of the free space. This ratio is called what? Your relative permeability, right? So any medium is equal to what? Relative into what? Free space, right? Okay, so this number is always what? More than 1, because this is smallest always. Okay, yes. Okay, then last is this one. I'm telling relation between relative and what? Susceptibility. Relative permeability and what? Susceptibility. Okay, what is relation? It's very simple relation. Your mu r is simply equal to what? 1 plus chi m. This is a relation. This is a little important. You should remember this. Okay, relative permeability of given material is equal to what? 1 plus susceptibility of that material. Okay, xm. This relation is important. Okay, these were some basic definitions you should remember. Now after this I will talk the 3 type of magnetic material, just basic properties you have to remember, because in our exam they have asked only some basic property like what type of material, what's the use of that, only those they have asked in exam, nothing important or nothing like numerical they have asked from this topic in NEET exam. Okay, so basic theoretical question they have asked. Okay. Okay, so we're talking about the properties of these 3 type of magnetic material. Let's talk. Okay, first property, we are interested in knowing that how this magnetism, how these properties are developed. Okay, who caused these properties? Okay, yes. So I'm writing cause or source of magnetism. How this magnetism will develop? Okay, yes. What is the source of diamagnetism? So diamagnetism are produced due to the, like our electrons are there, they are moving in orbits in an atom, right? So this orbital motion of the electrons will generate what? Diamagnetic properties. Okay, so source or cause is what? You write orbital motion of electrons. Electrons are moving in their orbits, in their respective orbits, that will generate what? Your diamagnetic properties. Okay, then how paramagnetic materials are generated? These properties are generated these electrons only, and you know electrons are moving in their orbits, at the same time they are spinning also, right? Now, so spin motion of the electrons will cause what? Your paramagnetic properties. So spin motion of electrons will produce what? These type of properties. Okay, ferromagnet is produced by a separate properties called what? Formation of domains. Formation of domains. I will explain this about this little more. Okay, so cause of magnetism you understood, orbital, due to the orbital motion of the electron, due to the spin motion of the electron, and due to the formation of what? Domains. Okay, okay. Let's talk next. This is source how they are produced. Okay, then now what happens when these type of magnetic materials are placed in an external magnetic field, or we call magnetizing field. Okay, so I'm bringing material placed in magnetizing field. You put this material inside a magnetizing field, then what will happen? Okay, so what happens when a diamagnetic material is placed inside some external magnetic field or magnetizing field? Then what happens? This will get magnetized poorly in what? Opposite direction. Okay, so in words I am writing, gets poorly magnetized in what? Opposite direction. Means opposite direction of the magnetizing field. For example, this is a magnetic material which is diamagnetic material, and place some external field like this way. This is what your magnetizing field. Then what happens? This magnetizing field will try to go away from this. Okay, this magnetizing field lines will not try to enter this. Okay, yes, they will try to go away from this material. Yes, they will not try to enter this. So it's get magnetized in opposite direction. This is the direction of magnetic field, or H you say, let's say H. Then this is the direction of your magnetic moment it develop or get magnetized in what? Opposite direction to the direction of the magnetizing field. Okay, then para what happens? This also get magnetized poorly only, gets poorly magnetized in what? Same direction. Yeah, this also poorly get magnetized, but direction of magnetization will be same as the magnetizing field only. Means these field lines will try to enter little bit inside this. Okay, so how it looks? This is your magnetic material, which is what? Paramagnet. Field lines, they will try to go inside this. Okay, like this. Yes. So this is direction of the H, then your magnetic moment also develop in same direction. Okay, yes, this get magnetized in what? Poorly in direction of the field also. Then what happened to this? It gets strongly magnetized in again in same direction. Okay, what happened to ferromagnet? Gets strongly magnetized in what? Same direction. Yes, means here in this type of material, all these field lines will try to go inside the material. Okay, they will magnetize it strongly. So this is your magnetic material. You put in field lines. Suppose these are the field lines, and all field lines will try to go through this. Okay, like this. Which strongly get magnetized. All field lines they are trying to what? Enter in this magnetic material. Okay, like this. Right? Strongly get magnetized in the same direction of the field. Direction of field is like that one. Sorry, again I am writing H. Okay. Then this is direction of magnetic moment. Same. Okay. Okay. Let's talk some more properties. Then third property talk. Suppose we talk about what? Like magnetic susceptibility. Okay. Chi. Okay, so before that I take relative permeability. Okay, relative permeability. Okay, we are talking what is mu r value. Okay, with respect to free space, what's the value of relative permeability of this three material? So this is very small. This has range from 0 to what? 1 is positive. How you say? Positive and small. This value relative permeability is what? Positive and small. What's the range? Is more than 0. Your mu r is more than 0 but less than what? 1. This is the range. Okay. This also what? Positive only and small only. Okay. Not too much big. This range is from where? It start from 1. It's always more than 1. Mu r is more but less than what? 2. This is 0 to 1. This is what? Less than 1. Okay. This is 1 to what? 2. And this is what? Positive and what? Big. And large. Okay. So it's more than 2 you say. And you say, simply say that mu r is what? Much bigger than what? 1. Okay. Yes, it's a big number. This is a relative permeability, is positive for all three materials. Okay, do not confuse. Positive for all three materials, positive and small, 0 to what 1, 1 to 2, and more than 2 or very very big you say. Okay. Then I told about susceptibility. Chi we are talking. Okay, susceptibility. Okay, this guy says negative susceptibility. Okay, so I'm writing small and what negative. Yeah, susceptibility is what small and what negative. And here they ask that how susceptibility change with temperature. Also they ask something called Curie's law. So I'm writing this chi does not depends on what temperature, does not depend upon what temperature. The susceptibility will not depends on what temperature. So by chance if you want to draw a graph between what, you want to draw a graph between susceptibility and temperature. Say this is chi and this side is what temperature. Then first is a negative. Negative means graph comes in negative quadrant and does not depend on temperature. So this graph will look like that way. So this is a graph for what? Susceptibility for what? A diamagnetic material with temperature. Does not change with what temperature. These things will change with temperature. Okay. Yes. So what is this then? Susceptibility for paramagnetic is small and what? Positive. Small and what? Positive. Correct. Yes. And this depends on temperature. It varies inversely with temperature. Susceptibility varies inversely with what? Temperature. Yeah, this depends on temperature. If you want to draw a graph between what? Susceptibility versus temperature, then you will get an inverse curve. Okay, like this. Correct. What happens when you heat a magnetic material, these two, they will lose their magnetic properties. Okay. Yes. Okay. This is also called Curie's law. I write here separately. Also called what? Means susceptibility is inversely proportional to what? Temperature. This is also called what? Curie's law. What happens? Temperature increase. This material will lose its what? Magnetic properties. Okay. But opposite of this, suppose you cool down this ferromagnet, okay, then it will gain what? Magnetic properties. So at some temperature, this, if you cooling this paramagnet is gaining magnetic properties. So at some temperature, what happens? The para becomes what? Ferromagnet, and that temperature is called what? Curie's temperature. Okay. Yeah. Here also same relation only. It's a big and positive, right? Large and what? Positive. Susceptibility is what? Positive and what? Big. Okay. This also varies inversely with the temperature. Okay. Varies inversely with what? Temperature. Yeah, this also depends on temperature and how it varies inversely. So here also you want to draw a graph between xm versus temperature. Then graph look like here. You should draw the small difference between this graph and that graph. Okay, this much only. So here what happens actually, if you watch carefully, if you heat this material, then their magnetic properties will be lost. So at some temperature, the ferro converted into what? Paramagnet. That's called again what? Curie temperature. You can write few words, okay, separately. You cool down that. If you cool this, it will become what? Ferromagnet. If you heat this, ferro will become what? Paramagnet, right? Yeah, because both inversely varies with what? Temperature. Okay. Susceptibility is done, magnetic permeability is done, and okay. So one more point you can write what here, like intensity of magnetization. Okay, intensity of magnetization means are you talking? So this is what this material, small and negative. Same like this one is susceptibility only. For this material, small and what? Positive. For this material, large and what? Positive. Correct? Yes. Intensity of magnetization is same like what? Susceptibility order, right? Small negative, small positive, small and what? Large. Same order is what here also, right? No problem. Okay. Yes. Then sixth property you want to talk that. Suppose you have a needle made up of these three material. dia, para and ferro. You hang freely inside a magnetic field, external magnetic field, then how they get okay, align. Okay, so I'm writing a point here. So magnetic needle hangs freely in magnetizing field. Okay, you hang a needle made up of these three materials inside a uniform external field or magnetizing field, then how they will behave. Suppose this is some direction of what magnetic field. This is your B or H. Okay, right, B say. You hang a needle here, right, then how the needle will look, it will becomes what, vertical, perpendicular to, it get aligned what, perpendicular toward your magnetizing field. This is your needle, a thin bar magnet, very small bar magnet, is get aligned by how, perpendicular toward magnetic field. So needle, so write few words here, gets aligned perpendicular toward your magnetizing field, or you say magnetic field also. Okay, correct. Here what happens in this case, it get parallel. Okay, this is your magnetic field. So if you hanging this needle, it get aligned parallel toward magnetic field, like this it will look. And same situation here also, this also get what, aligned. You hanging this small needle, that get aligned with what, direction of the field, correct. Here only it become perpendicular, these two cases they get what, aligned. Okay, yeah, these two guys has similar property, just small and big, that has what, negative, opposite properties. Okay, opposite to what, these two guys. Okay, so 6 properties I discussed, this is 7th. So it's not 7th just property, I'm just writing what the example, because it's very important. 3 times they have asked question about this topic, where they're talking about the examples. You have to identify who is para, who is dia, and what, ferromagnet, right? So these are the examples. Look here, who is our diamagnetic? Okay, most popular, you know, is like salt, you know, water, you know, right, H2O, bismuth, copper, silver, lead, mercury, hydrogen, helium, neon, gold, right? So many examples are there. Okay, you have to remember them because they have asked 3 times this question in our exam. See the PYQs. Paramagnet, sodium, potassium, magnesium, right? All these are there. Oxygen also there. Ferromagnet, you know, okay, iron, cobalt, nickel, and their alloys. Okay, yes. Some other properties talk here, like magnetic moment also they ask. Magnetic moment. And same way here, magnetic moment is what, you say small and what, negative. You should not say negative, should like opposite direction of the magnetizing field. Okay, small and opposite to direction of what, magnetizing field. Yes, magnetic moment is developed but in opposite direction and small. Okay, here it's small and in the direction of what, magnetizing field, direction of magnetizing field, and here becomes what, large, and in the direction of what, magnetizing field. Okay, yes, simple property. Okay, next if you want, right, they ask a small question that what is the magnetic moment of single atom? Magnetic moment of single atom. If you have single atom, then what is the magnetic moment? Okay, yes, these guys do not have any magnetic moment for single atom. Okay, say I'm writing here, they do not have permanent magnetic moment for what, single atom. Okay, these guys they have what, permanent magnetic moment, but they are randomly oriented. So net magnetic moment in absence of external field is what, again 0 only. Okay, here net magnetic moment, if they ask you what is the answer, 0. Okay, they have permanent magnetic moment. Okay, these guys have permanent magnetic moment, but what happened? You say randomly what oriented. Correct. They have small, but it's randomly oriented. So I'm writing very important point here. So in absence of external magnetic field, their net magnetic moment is what? Again, zero only. Is zero. Here also zero only, permanently zero. They don't have a permanent magnetic moment. These guys have, but they are randomly oriented. So in absence of external field, they are what? Zero. When external field is applied, they get aligned, so they get what? A magnetic moment. Okay. So these guys has what? Permanent magnetic moment in form. So our domains. At the starting, we learned that how these are produced. Right now, they have permanent. Okay. Magnetic moment, okay, in the form of what? Domains, D-O-M-A-I-N-S, okay, so they have magnetic moment. Okay, let's talk one last property. Suppose these materials are placed inside a non-uniform field, then what happens? Okay, magnetic or should I like behavior in non-uniform external magnetic field. You have placed these three materials inside a non-uniform magnetic field, not uniform, okay, non-uniform, then how they will behave. So what these guys do? These guys they move from strong field to what? Weak field. Or they moves from strong field to what? Weaker field. Okay. They will move from what? A strong field to what? Weak field. One question was asked on exam. Look here. They say there is a U-tube and some magnetic material is formed here. Like I forget tell you here. Diamagnet, I gave so many examples. They are available in what? All form. This type of materials available in all form, like they can have in form of solid, liquid or gas. Okay. Same thing here also. They are available in all forms, solid, liquid and gas. But generally these guys are available only in what? Solid form, crystalline form. Okay. Yes. These are available in all three format: solid, liquid, gas. Ferro is available only in what? Solid generally. Okay. Yes. So what I said, there is a U-tube was there. This is a U-tube and some what? Suppose diamagnetic material is filled here. Okay, diamagnetic. Then they said that I bring a bar magnet around it. Okay, you brought a magnet around this. And say this is what your north pole. That's what your south pole. Some magnet you brought around this, right? South pole, north pole. A magnet you brought here, right? Then what happened to the level of this? In this column. So what will happen? We know that this material they moves from what? Strong field to what? Weak field. When you bring magnet here, strong field is developed here, right? So this your level will go what? Down. Initially it was here. Your magnetic material will move downward, okay, and this side will rise. Correct? Yes. So magnetic material will move down. Your level in this column will go down, and this column it will rise, right? Okay. Opposite will happen what? In these two guys, okay? They moves from what? Moves from weak field to what? Strong field, right? Same thing here also. Moves from strong field to what? Weak field. Sorry, I wrote opposite here. Please give attention. It moves from what? Weak field to what? Strong field. Okay. So this guy moves from strong to weak. These two guys moves from weak to what? Strong. So if the material is filled here like para or ferro type of material, then what will happen? The liquid level will rise. Okay. It moves towards the magnet strong field. Okay. Yes. Okay. So these were the magnetic properties of the magnetic materials. You have to remember them. They can ask you some questions. Okay. Last topic we have is an important property of this magnetic material, which is related to what? Your electromagnets. Okay. Okay, so I will talk about that. That property is called what? Magnetic hysteresis. Okay, so now we're talking about the last topic of this chapter. That's called an important property of this magnetic material is called magnetic hysteresis. Magnetic hysteresis. Okay, what is this? Look at how you make electromagnet. You take a magnetic material, generally ferromagnet, and place inside somewhat external magnetizing field, means external magnetic field, like a generally like a solenoid. Okay, then what happens? This solenoid will produce some magnetic field, or we call it magnetizing field. That magnetizing field will induce some magnetic field inside that our material, and it get what? Magnetized. Okay, so now once you got magnetized your material, it became a magnet. You have some purpose and you're done with it. You want to demagnetize this. So what you do? You remove that current slowly. When your current makes zero, slowly the magnetic field is what? Reducing. But what happens when you talk ferromagnet? Okay, this property, this phenomenon happens only in what? Ferromagnetic materials. Okay, let me write here. Happens only in what? Ferromagnetic materials. Okay. So what happens in this now? So I said that you are magnetized. Okay, let's see here. Suppose this is what your some solenoid which is producing some magnetic field by passing current I here. Okay, and you have placed some material, ferromagnetic material, inside this to magnetize this. Okay, yes. Okay, so what we did is this: we passing current to this, so it get magnetized in one direction. Okay, yes. Now you want to demagnetize this, so what you will do? Reduce this current. So your current will reduce, the magnetizing field is reduced, so the magnetic field induced in this also what? Reduce. Okay, but what happens when we frequently magnetize, demagnetize? Okay, it will, this material will lose its what? Magnetic properties. This material will lose its magnetic properties, and this loss in the magnetic properties is called what? Magnetic hysteresis. Okay, let me write a few words here. The loss in the magnetic properties of a ferromagnetic material due to the repeated cycles of magnetization and demagnetization is called magnetic hysteresis. Okay, this is your magnetic hysteresis. The loss in the magnetic properties of a general talk ferromagnet. I told you this we apply for what? Ferromagnetic material. Due to the repeated cycles of what? Magnetizing, then demagnetizing. Okay, this loss is called what? Magnetic hysteresis. In some book they write in a little different way. I will explain you once I draw a graph here. So what happening? Why this happens actually? Okay, look here, watch carefully. So you're drawing a graph here. What graph you drawing? We want to draw a graph between the magnetic field developed inside that magnetic material and versus magnetizing field. Magnetizing field is produced by this solenoid. Magnetic field is developed inside our bar magnet. Here you can call current also. Okay, this directly depends on what? Current. This field. Okay, depends upon what? Your current. Okay, so here if you write a current curve, that also okay. Inside of B and I you can also write. General is called BH curve. Hysteresis magnet is also called what? BH curve. People also call what? BH curve. Okay. So look here once more. B is the magnetic field developed in our material. Okay, which we are magnetizing, and H is the magnetizing field. The magnetizing field produced by this solenoid. Okay, external field. Here this is proposed to what? Current. So I said you can write current also here to understand. Okay. So simply let's write it clearly here. Directly depend on current. How much current we passing through that solenoid. Okay, this is a magnetizing field produced by solenoid. So what happens initially? Suppose there is no magnetic field inside this. Okay, no current. Now current you increasing, then this magnetic field will increase like non-linearly. Okay, it doesn't increase linearly, it will increase like that way, like that way. Okay, yes. So then it becomes what? Maximum at this point, saturation. This is the point O, O2A. So what you're doing, you increasing current, okay, in that solenoid, it producing magnetic field will be developed inside the magnetic material. So this non-linear relation, not like straight line, okay. So after some current or magnetizing field, the magnetic field inside the material is what? Maximum. After that you increase your current, the more magnetic field will not be developed, okay. Now what happens? You have magnetized this, now you want to demagnetize that material, okay. You want to demagnetize, so what you will do, you will reduce your current slowly. When you are reducing current slowly, this graph will not follow the same path. It comes like somewhere like here, okay. That's the path you're going. Let's call that point as what? B. Now watch carefully this graph, okay. You have reduced your current to 0. You have reduced current to 0, but the magnetic field inside that magnetic material is not 0. Watch carefully. You made your current 0, but magnetic field is what? Here. Some B to O, that value is there. Magnetic field is not 0. So your BO is called retentivity. It's called retentivity, also called residual magnetism. So in graph, what is this? This OB value is called what? Retentivity or residual magnetism. What is this? It is the magnetic field left inside that magnetic material when current is made to what? 0. You have removed your magnetizing field. H you have removed, means you have removed your current. Current you made 0. H became 0. Still there is a magnetic field inside that material. That's called what? Your residual magnetism or retentivity. So let's write few words here. It is the magnetic field left inside magnetic material, okay, material when the external magnetizing field, or you say current also, magnetizing field means H, or simply you can say current, okay, is made to what? 0. You have made your current 0 or magnetizing field 0. No magnetizing field is produced by what? Solenoid. Still the magnetic field inside that magnetic material is not 0. Some value is left, that whatever left is called what? Residual magnetism or retentivity of that material, correct? And why this happens in the left? Because of domains, you know, when you are applying field, domains are get aligned, okay. Why this happens? This happens, let's write few words here. This happens due to the alignment of what? Domains. Domains remains aligned in one direction only even after the magnetizing field is removed. So they have somewhat permanent, okay, magnetic field left inside that material is called what? Retentivity or residual magnetism, okay. Now you came here. You want to make that magnetic field what? 0. Some magnetic field is left. How much left? OB. You want to make 0, so what you do? You have to make current flow in what? Opposite direction. You produce an opposite magnetizing field, okay, in opposite direction. So you give current in what? Opposite direction. When you give current in opposite direction at some value like here, C value, this much current, OC current, your magnetic field inside the material is what? 0. So this value OC is called what? Coercivity. COCERCIVITY, coercivity. Like in this called your OC value is what? Your coercivity. So what is coercivity? It is the amount of magnetizing field H, or you can say current also, right? Current required in opposite direction, okay. Opposite, I wrote it very bad here, direction to make net magnetic field inside that material 0, right? Inside given material what? 0. You want to make the net magnetic field inside that material 0, then how much opposite magnetizing field you have to provide, or opposite direction current you have to apply, that OC, that value is called what? Your coercivity. At this point, you know, magnetizing field can become zero for this much current. If you keep like applying more current or more magnetizing field in opposite direction, then what happens? Now this metal will start magnetizing in opposite direction. Okay, it will get what? Magnetized in what? Opposite direction. And it become again saturation. Again you feel current given opposite direction. Again it will increase. So you get a cycle like this form. Okay, it's very nice cycle. Like this is one complete cycle for magnetizing and what? Demagnetizing. Okay, yes. So two terms came. OB is called what? Retentivity. The amount of magnetic field left inside that material when magnetizing field is made to what? Zero. Correct. Okay. On OC is what? This amount of magnetizing field required or current required to make the net magnetic field inside the material zero. Okay. Yes. Actually, if you watch carefully, this graph is very important because this closed graph of B and H. Okay. Actually, I said this is a main definition. In some book they write like this also. The lagging behind of B. Okay. The lagging of B behind H is called what? BH curve or magnetic hysteresis. This B will be always behind of H. Look here. Here at this point H became 0, but B some value is there. It's not 0 right now. So B is always lagging. Okay. So how people say? Lagging of B behind H is also called what? Your magnetic hysteresis. Okay. 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 These terms you understood, retentivity and coercivity, right now. Now, very important point. The area bounded by BH curve, okay, gives what? This gives the energy loss per unit volume for every cycle. Okay, gives energy loss per unit volume per cycle. Area of this complete closed loop, this area gives what? How much energy will be lost when once you magnetize and demagnetize the magnetic material, right? It gives energy loss per unit volume. Okay, yes. So what happens? This is very important, you have to remember this. So suppose we have two type of material, you know, one is called electromagnet, right? Then one is called what? Permanent magnet, right? Permanent magnet. Suppose you want to make electromagnet, which frequently you have to what? Magnetize and demagnetize, right? So you want to minimize your loss, then this area should be what? Very small. You want to make this area very small, means your coercivity and retentivity should be what? Very small. So if you want to make electromagnet, means what? What we need? We need a material which has small retentivity, okay, small coercivity and what? Small retentivity also. Okay. You need a small coercivity and small retentivity so that the area of this loop becomes small. So the loss per cycle is what? Reduced, because in electromagnet frequently we have to magnetize and demagnetize our material. Okay. Yes. So your BH area is BH curve area we need is what? Very small area we need. Okay. Yes. Opposite here, you want to make permanent magnet. Permanent magnet is like once we magnetize, then for long time we don't need to demagnetize or magnetize it again, right? So number of cycles is what? Very less. So we need here what? Large what? Coercivity. We write it properly. Coercivity and large retentivity also. Okay. Both value you need what? Big values. Small coercivity, small retentivity, so that area of this loop becomes very small, so loss per cycle is what? Reduced. Here we don't repeated it, not like making frequent magnetizing and demagnetizing in permanent magnet. So we want to get maximum residual magnetism. This value you want maximum. Okay, so you need high coercivity and high retentivity. Okay, yes. So what type of material we use? Here we use like a soft iron to make this type of material. Electromagnet we need soft iron. Here we use like steel and Alnico, this type of thing. Okay, these we use to make what? Permanent magnet. Okay, yes. So in exam they asked once exam that which material is good. They gave graph and they said which material is good for like permanent magnet and which is good for what? Your electromagnet. So electromagnet means you need a graph which has a minimum area, like suppose this is a small graph. Okay, So this is good for what? Your soft iron. Permanent you make, it means you need big coercivity and big retentivity. Okay, so big loop you need. Okay, like this type of loop we will choose for what? Your permanent magnet. Okay, so here you have done all things about what? Magnetic materials and earth magnetism. Okay, so if you have any confusion from this part, please put in comment. I will reply. Thank you so much. Have a good day.